Hello and welcome to Empire of Wargames. My name is Pleasure and today we are going to talk about the 3 newly announced boarding patrol boxes. If you enjoyed the content, consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing, as well as checking the links down in the description below if you want to support what I do. Alright, so GW decided to announce 3 boarding patrol boxes yesterday. The day before that, we talked about boarding patrol rumors, and there I talked about a Grey Knights box which was officially announced yesterday. As for the other 2 boxes, for the Dark Eldar and Tau, those are obviously going to come a little bit later, if at all, because they're still rumors, but it is still entirely within the realm of possibility that those 2 boxes are going to appear. Now, the boxes that GW has announced today are for the Necrons, for the Tyranids, and for the Grey Knights. So let's go over them one by one, talk about my first impressions, and yeah, let's talk about points and so on. Alright, so how about we talk about the Grey Knights box first, because I technically covered it already in my rumors video. It is exactly the same box as I anticipated. It is Castle and Crow, it is a Brotherhood Terminator squad or Paladins, and it is a Strike squad or any of the other numerous options you can assemble them as, such as a Purgation squad, Purifiers, Interceptors, and so on. And that is one of the strengths of this specific box. Castle and Crow is a downside because a lot of people probably already have them who play Grey Knights, and that takes away a lot from the savings and from the appeal of this box. But when it comes to new players, this box is great because the Strike Squad offers a ton of options. You can assemble the Terminators as Paladins or Terminators however you want. But yeah, you're going to hit the 500 points mark. You can play combat patrol games with this one. You can play boarding actions with this one, and it is just a nice box to have for completely new players, while it is not that interesting for veterans. Alright, and the list you can see on the screen is basically my recommended list before we move on to the pricing. And the pricing looks good as always, because if we expect this box to cost just as much as the Space Marines one, namely £65 local equivalent, you're going to be saving between 33 and 36%, which is above average. We usually expect 30% here on the channel for value boxes, and I think 36% is definitely great. And, you know, picking this box up as a starter is definitely not a bad idea. Alright, next up we are going to move to the Necron boarding patrol box, and this one is a little bit special. First up, as you may notice from the picture, there is no HQ choice in here. You don't need any HQ choices for boarding patrol games, but if you want to consider this one as a starting point for a new army and you want to use it for regular combat patrol games or later on for regular Warhammer 40,000, I would strongly suggest to pick up an HQ choice, as that is required. As for kill team and so on, this box is perfectly adequate. Now, when it comes to the points in general, for boarding patrol in specific, you will be sitting at 450 points, because you can only pick one fast attack choice. Because as you may notice, there's a warriors kit in this box, and that means there are scarab swarms included as well. But you can only take one fast attack choice, and that is obviously going to be the Ophidian Destroyers in our case here. So we had to take or make a choice basically. So yeah, 450 points for boarding patrol. In general, if you were to add the scarab swarms on top of everything, you'd be sitting on 495 points, so closer to that 500 points mark. Now, another thing that is a little bit weird is from the promotional image, you can see that some of the Lich Guard or Triarch Praetorians are assembled as Triarch Praetorians in the example picture. You cannot use or field Triarch Praetorians in boarding patrol games as of the recording of this video. That may change with one of the future books, because there are going to be more future books released with additional boarding patrol rules. As it stands, it is not possible, but the image may suggest that that may change. And lastly, before we wrap the Necrons up, we are going to take a look at the price and the savings. As you can see, with our regular boarding patrol price, we are sitting at 50% savings, which is usually way too much for GW value boxes. And the Chaos Space Marine box looked very much the same. And that tells me that there are going to be 2 tiers of boarding patrol boxes. The one we've seen with the Space Marines and the Grey Knights for £65, and one for the Chaos Space Marines and the Necrons that is going to be a little bit more expensive, probably £75 or £85 or something along those lines, but nothing is confirmed yet, so take it all with a grain of salt. Alright, and last but not least, we are going to talk about the Tyranids box. This one contains a Broodlord, 2 units or 2 boxes of Tyranid Warriors, and a box of Gene Stealers. Now, my first impression here is very positive, because Tyranid Warriors, let's face it, are some of the most overpriced models in the GW portfolio, and having them discounted, especially 2 squads at once, is great. And if this box costs £65, it is incredible value at that point, especially if you are buying into the rumors that the 10th edition starter set are going to feature Tyranids as well. And if you're new to the faction, or if you want to bolster your army, this box is definitely in. If you already own a Broodlord, at that point it gets a little bit wonky. At that point I think it's not really worth it anymore. But picking it up once as a starting point for a new player is excellent. And we've been also looking at the points the whole time. And my example list here has 488 points. You can easily go higher. The Gene Stealers have upgrades. The Tyranid Warriors are all equipped with dual bone swords, because that is probably the way I would run them. But you can run them in any way, make them more expensive, make them cheaper. It is easily possible. And the Broodlord also has upgrades when it comes to psychic powers and so on. So you can easily get to the 500 points mark. It is a fully playable boarding patrol box. It is a fully playable combat patrol box. And you can use it for anything really that is playable at 500 points. And you can even use it for kill team as well. So all in all, I have really nothing negative to say about this box, depending on the price. So when we look at the pricing table, we see that the savings here are around 45%, which is also quite a bit higher than we usually see. This box, when it comes to the total cost, is right between the Space Marines ones and boxes like the Necrons ones, which are, the Space Marines one is at £100 total cost approximately, and the Necrons one is at 130. So this one is right in between. So I'm not sure if there are going to be 3 tiers of boarding patrol pricing boxes, or if they are just going to stick with £65 for all of them. If they do, I highly recommend picking up the Necrons one and the Tyranids one, because they are both great starting points at that point. And if they are going to be a little bit more expensive at that point, do the math yourself, calculate the values for your specific region and currency, and make sure that the savings are right above 30%. If they are lower, I would reconsider, buying this box and think about whether it's not more sensible to buy all your stuff separately. But all in all, my first impression of these boxes is very positive. The Grey Knights box, super flexible. The Tyranid box has a lot of cool starting options, and getting Tyranid Warriors discounted is great. And the Necrons boarding patrol is just an amazing way to start a Necron army. It is great for boarding patrol boxes, and it's a better start than the combat patrol box in my opinion. The Necron combat patrol box is a little bit wonky, and all you really need to add to the boarding patrol box is an HQ choice, which is relatively easy. You can find Necron Overlords on eBay for £5 from the Indomitus box or from the Command Edition starter sets. So if you wanted to have an Overlord, you can get one for very cheap. So yeah, all 3 of these boxes look great. So if you're looking to start any of these armies, you should consider these. And the most important thing here is that these boxes are probably not going to get reprinted. As you can see, when we look at the Space Marines box, it is while stock lasts, and that means that these boxes are just a single print run only, which sucks. I was hoping that these boxes would, at least for a little while, replace start collecting boxes, fill that void when it comes to the pricing, but it seems GW kind of treats them as a one and done kind of deal, which, yeah, it is what it is. You're probably going to experience FOMO with these. If you don't have the finances to, support buying these boxes, don't do it, even though they are great value. If you have a lot of plastic lying around that is not painted or assembled yet, don't buy these boxes and take it easy. Other than that, I hope this video was insightful. I hope the pricing is going to stick at £65, but we never know. And if you have any opinions on these boxes, drop them down in the comments below and we'll discuss things there. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.